Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Cassidy Car Cave. Thanks for checking it out. So, as you can see, I've got a hole here in the cave. We need to put something in it. Let's get another car in here. But first, oh wait, we also have a special guest arriving today. So, Cassidy Car Cave.
Excuse me, sir, do you have any Grey Poupon? But of course, you handsome devil, you. Here you go.
Right then, how'd you like that? Oh, it's just for fun. So, there's a hole in the cave there. There's room for another car. I didn't follow anybody's advice. I did a really stupid thing. And this car kind of fell into my lap. I'll tell you the story of it. So I have a very good friend named Dr. Clairday out in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, that is a veterinarian out there. And he had some property that, through a long story, this car ended up in the garage of the property. And to say it's a barn find is not quite accurate because it wasn't in the barn. But it was in a garage, and I'll show you a picture. It was literally piled up with mink coats and quilts and rubbish, but mostly it was piled up with cats. There was cat prints all over this car. You might be able to see it in the picture, but it was just buried in weird, crazy cat ladiness. So the lady had driven the car 900 miles in 5 years, but there wasn't anything wrong with it. She just parked it one day and quit driving it. And really, I think that's true because after cleaning on it and getting it back here to the cave and kind of charging the battery, I actually had to get a new battery. I fired it up and she runs great. It was sitting right here for 2 days. There's no huge oil leaks. There's maybe something right there, but what this is a 1990 Bentley Mulsanne S. So it is not the turbocharged model. The Turbo R is much faster, more high performance. This is the British interpretation of a floating couch. So let's talk about the Bentley. It's a 1990 Mulsanne S model, so it's not the Turbo. What it is hopefully a little easier to take care of. It runs great. As a matter of fact, I started to reach for the GoPro, but you're on the hood of the car right now. And I know GoPro has some pretty good anti-vibration, but you know, it's just rock solid. It's such a strange car because it came from Connecticut, and the first 3 owners of the car just absolutely babied it. It was with an open checkbook taken care of. And I've got a service book, I'll show you this. It's this thick of every service record in the car. And then for the past 5 years, this crazy cat lady had it, and it's 900 miles is all it's gotten on it. So take a look. Everything pretty much is original on it. I think the paint is even original. It needs a buff, but it's not bad. It's all there. Doesn't look too terrible. And the amazing thing is the inside. And I think that's probably what you get with these cars, is you get the inside that will last, you know, for 30 years and still look like this, because it's just gorgeous on the inside. Nice black piping, that sort of saddle leather, Connolly, you know, a lot of sheep, cows, and trees gave their life for this car. So, you know, in a Bentley, and I didn't know this is the first Bentley I've ever had, you know, this is metal. This isn't that shiny plastic from even like a Mercedes or something from this era. It's all real. That's why it still looks like this so many years later. So let's take a look at the inside. Just unbelievable treatment on the dash, you know, wood everywhere, just absolutely gorgeous. Everything works on the car, the climate control, the seats, everything works. I do have a little trouble with this window lift over here. It goes down pretty easy, but doesn't go up so great. So, you know, there'll be things to fix for sure. But so many cool little features on this car. If you look, obviously that's the gas gauge. But if you push this button down here, which I didn't know what it did, but if you push that, it turns into a mineral oil gauge and lets you know how much mineral oil you have in the car. Because if you run out of mineral oil in this car, you are probably headed to the nearest wall, rock, car in front of you. Something terrible is going to happen because your brakes are not going to work. Everything is controlled off the mineral oil, brakes and suspension. So you need that. You need to make sure you know how much you got in there. You know, I heard me when I pulled up, right? It's got 2 horns, a city horn and a country horn. So just a really amazing vehicle from this era. Overbuilt doesn't do it justice. So if you look, hopefully you can see there's 94,000 miles on this car. I was hoping maybe that was kilometers, but it's miles. And for a Bentley from this era to have 94,000 miles on it, I don't know that I've ever seen that many miles on one that still is moving around and driving. It's just unbelievable. But the reason it has that, jump out, I'll show you. All right, so this was actually the impetus for the Bentley. Is I've got a hole and it needs another car, right? I had to move some cars around to make that hole, but that's okay. Pay no attention to that car back there. You don't see that one yet. That's going to be another video coming to introduce that one. So the reason I was so excited about this Bentley, though, well, a lot of reasons, was first of all this. I'm going to show you. So this service history came with the car, and look at this. It's just amazing. Everything from when the car was first built, literally, like the 30 pages of hand-signed documents from when the car was built. You know, these were all hand-built back in Crewe, C-R-E-W-E, England, I think. And the person that's building the car signs off on everything as you go through it. So I'll show you. There's a whole section in here of when the car was being built. Just check boxes for everything. You know, somebody fit ball pin holder to steering rack. Somebody did that. You know, just unbelievable notes and history of the build of this car. And then it goes through all the ownerships. There were 3 major owners before this lady I bought it from ended up with it. And they all have their different service sections in here. But what's really amazing is the detail they went into to document this car. So these blue pages, these aren't like service histories. These are every trip the car took. They've notated the mileage, if they did have to put any money into it, kind of where they went, the date. Unbelievable. So, you know, the car on September 1st of 2007 went to Stamford, Connecticut. You know, just every trip. There's trips in here to Kroger's and things like that. Just unbelievable service history. And then beyond that is, this is the reason why you don't buy a Bentley, right? These are all the repairs for this car over its 94,000 miles. And, you know, I briefly looked through. It's not that bad. You know, there's not like a new engine or transmission rebuild or anything crazy like that in there. It's actually pretty routine service as far as that goes. You know, a lot of work on the suspension, a lot of leaks, some work on, you know, replacing springs and things like that, but nothing major, nothing crazy. Maybe that's good or bad for me. We're going to find out. But overall, the car is in very good mechanical condition. It had some neglect from sitting for a couple of years or not being driven very much. But it's doing pretty good. So definitely some flat spots on the tires just from sitting. I don't know if they'll round back out as I drive it. Certainly going to need the tires balanced. It does have a little bit of a shimmy from the crummy condition of the tires. But the date code in the tires isn't bad, and they're in great shape. They're not dry rotting, so I don't know if they'll come back into round at all, or if I'm gonna have to get new tires, which stinks because those tires made for this car are expensive. They're $200 or $300 each, so we'll see if we can salvage them. Definitely have to adjust or fix the window regulator on the driver's side. It's got an issue. And then other than that, my plan is just to drive it. I'll do another video later where I sort of go through the actual, review of the driving the car experience. But it's very nice. It's so smooth and quiet. It's slow as can be, but I think that's the point of that car. Someone said once, you drive it like there's, you got your grandmother in the back seat, and that's pretty much true. You don't get after it on that one. Maybe the Turbo R, but not that one. So that'll be the plan. We'll do some a review of it. We'll fix some things on it, make a few videos there, and maybe just update every once in a while, kind of how it's doing and whether this was crazy or not. I have no idea. So far, I've had to buy a battery for it and just a few little things. But the thing I said to somebody a couple days ago is this car is one warning light away or one puddle away from a $6,000 repair bill. So it's just, that's why it's not worth anything. It's unless you have a cave full of tools, you can't fool with these cars. So, all right. Thank you, Hoovie's Garage, for giving me the idea to look for a Bentley, even though you said not to. Thanks for letting me mess around with some footage. Like I said, if it's some sort of violation, let me know. I'm not trying to make anybody mad. Thanks for watching. I'm up to 250 subscribers, so thanks a lot. I've got some really kind of cool stuff planned if I can ever get to 1,000. YouTube, that's their cutoff for doing live feeds and things like that, is 1,000 subscribers. So I've had some interest in doing a cars and coffee, inside here. We'll fill the warehouse up with cars and just do a cars and coffee. I thought it might be fun to do a live feed from that. I'm a car nut and a coffee nut, so that's right up my alley. So look forward to that. Maybe as I get closer to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do something like that. If anybody has any interest, just make a comment down below and we'll talk about maybe what time would work for that. So first thing to do is get to 1,000 though. Thanks a lot.